Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Hibbard. I am a Vice President of International Banking at Comerica Bank right here in Grand Rapids. And my mission today is to help share some lessons and some information on Chapter 6 of the Global Marketplace Junior Achievement Program, specifically on money and its role in the global economy and global trade. As I like to refer to it as the Show Me the Money program. So here we go. First off, a quick word on West Michigan and Grand Rapids. We live in an amazing place. As you travel around, you realize that we've got great restaurants and cultures and music and beaches and rivers and a lot of jobs out here. The economy out in West Michigan is very, very good, among the best in the nation, frankly. And a lot of that reason is because a lot of the companies of West Michigan are very connected to the global economy, global trade, and what we refer to as the global supply chain. We'll get into that in a minute. Some of the companies you've heard of, the large ones, Steelcase and Herman Miller make the office furniture. Wolverine Worldwide makes the shoes and boots up in Rockford. Crazy cool brands that they make. Meyer Stores sources thousands of products from around the world. Right at our little, corner stores of Meyer. It's pretty cool to have that right here. But there's lots of smaller companies too. They have great paying jobs, challenging, fun, stimulating jobs. There's Ferris Coffee and Nut. They source coffee and nuts from around the world for us to enjoy. There's Seabright Products, south of town a little bit here, that makes machinery that recycles cardboard and plastic so it can be reused again. There's Roman Manufacturing that makes products that allows the manufacture of glass for glass buildings and welding metal for cars. So there's thousands of companies out here offering thousands and thousands of jobs that are connected to the global supply chain and the global economy. So a quick word about me. Again, Scott Hibbard, Comerica Bank. Been with the bank for about 25 years. I went to Michigan State. I got a 4-year business degree. Then went to Western Michigan and at nighttime and got a Master's of Business Administration, or an MBA, at night to kind of further prepare my my education so I could enjoy a successful career. My specific job is to finance the global supply chain. And what does that mean? Well, first of all, what is the global supply chain? Global supply chain is a term used to describe a network of suppliers and foreign customers that a company purchases from and sells to, both around North America and the entire world. For instance, a tractor manufacturer, say John Deere tractors, they need to source paint and metal and plastic and glass and all kinds of crazy parts to pull together and assemble their tractor. That would be their supply chain. And that supply chain goes into many countries for many parts. Once they make that tractor, they ship that tractor, sometimes locally, sometimes to a foreign buyer. That tractor manufacturer then becomes part of the supply chain for the foreign buyer. So you can see there's two sides of the supply chain. It's you buying parts to make your product, and then it's you selling your final product to another buyer. My job is to finance that supply chain. And what that really means is that I help companies not only move the money around to make the purchase and make the sale, I help them exchange it into different currencies so that each company in each country can operate in their own and end the transaction in their own currency. I also make loans to the West Michigan companies so they can make the product, because it takes money to buy the products. It takes money to pay the workers until they make the product to ship it when they get paid at the end. They call that working capital. Working capital is the money it takes to make something until you get paid once you ship it and sell it and receive the money from the foreign buyer. So what is currency? Well, a currency is simply a nation's money. And we use currency because it's a whole lot easier than using trading and bartering and selling or trading, say, a goat for a bicycle or a variety of things. The currency is an efficient way to allow the economy's wheels of commerce and business to take place. Each country has its own currency, and that's how they manage their economy. A couple examples of currencies and exchange rates. What is a foreign currency exchange rate? It simply is the value of one currency in terms of another. For instance, you go to Mexico for spring break and you have 100 pesos left in your pocket when you come home from spring break that you want to get back to US dollars so you can spend it here. What is 20 pesos worth? Well, the currency exchange rate changes every day. And so today, one US dollar is worth 20 Mexican pesos. So if you've got 100 pesos, how many dollars is that worth? That'd be worth $5. 100 pesos is worth $5. Another example would be Hudsonville ice cream, the manufacturer over in Holland of very tasty ice cream. Let's say they have a $100,000 sales contract to ship ice cream to a Canadian grocery store for a season, to sell their ice cream over a season. And the contract for $100,000 is worth how much in Canada? How much does a Canadian company need to pay Hudsonville to get their ice cream? Well, today, the exchange rate between US dollar, one US dollar equals $1.25 Canadian dollars. So $100,000 equals how much in Canadian dollars? That would be 125,000. So the Canadian company then would send 125,000 Canadian dollars to me, and then we would exchange it with exchange rate and then give Hudsonville Ice Cream their $100,000 in US dollars. That's one example of some of the things I do on a daily basis. So think about, one concept would be if we had different currencies in America. Each state had their own currency. Boy, would that be a mess. To go to Chicago or to go to Indiana, you'd have to have a different currency. That wouldn't work. Clearly, currency across America provides efficiency for spending, for travel, for business, for everything. But in some places of the world, it is kind of messy. For instance, Europe. Think about the European Union. Have you heard of the European Union? Well, the European Union is a collection of 27 countries. And historically, they used to have their own currency, 27 currencies in that area of the European Union, which is not that big of an area, maybe a little smaller than the United States. Very expensive, very difficult to travel from country to country to country with all these different currencies. Well, in 1993, the European Union was created. And the purpose of the European Union was essentially to promote peace and stability by having a unified economic system across its 27 member countries. That's about 450 million people, a little bigger than the United States. To remove the barriers of trade and travel across the borders of the 27 member countries, to encourage economic prosperity, jobs, scientific advancement, and to promote inclusion of all the cultures that comprise these 27 countries. Pretty cool. It's been very successful. Interestingly, however, that of those 27 countries, only 24 share the common currency called the euro. Several of them have decided to keep their own currency and not sign up for the overarching European Union euro currency. So why would a country choose not to join a common currency with other nations? Any ideas? Well, one is that some countries don't want to lose control over their own economy, or they want to maximize the control of their own economy. So when a country has its own currency, they can set their own interest rates, which are loan rates, savings account rates that maybe a bank pays for having money balances that you might provide a deposit in a bank. The country can also print its own money. Money wears out. You have to print more money and put it in the system. Those two things are key areas where a country can control its own economy. They're setting interest rates and the printing of its money. If someone else does that for you, you still have influence, but you don't have control of your own currency. So some countries are not comfortable, like England, Sweden, Denmark have all decided to keep their own currency. Why is a common currency good? Well, clearly, as we talked before, it makes life a lot easier when you can travel from country to country to country and it's the same currency. It's good for business. It's good for travel. It's good for consumers like you and me to live our life having one currency versus a pocket full of different currencies. It also gives smaller countries more influence, more economic influence, and more political influence. When a small country joins a larger group like the European Union, they then have more clout and more stature on the global stage when they're part of something larger. So that makes sense for that. So here's a question. Should we do that in North America? There's the Mexican peso, there's the US dollar, there's the Canadian dollar. Should we just scrap all three and get down to one North American dollar? What's the good aspects of that and what are the bad aspects of that? Something to think about. All right, so moving along, I would like to also chat about, in conclusion, that working in the global supply chain, whether in the banking realm, or research and design, or logistics and transportation and physically moving the goods around, or a whole host, customer service, sales, purchasing, where you're actually helping find components to bring into your shop to make the product, all those jobs don't necessarily need global travel experience. I never traveled until I was 30 years old. And a lot of these jobs are kind of fun because it's always changing. There's always issues and challenges and new situations around the world. And when you work within the global supply chain, it keeps things fresh and interesting. So don't think that you haven't traveled much, you can't get a job. You can. In fact, we need you. You guys are the leaders of tomorrow, and you'll be there sooner than you think. Time flips by very quickly, and we need you guys to get excited to be the leaders of tomorrow and help make Michigan, West Michigan, even better than it is today. And a lot of us provide internships and training and one-on-one interviews and mentoring to help you make those steps along the way to have a successful career and job and quality of life down the road. So any questions along those lines of banking or jobs in the global supply chain and financing the global supply chain, share them with your teacher. I'd be happy to provide anything and everything I can to help you guys get there. A couple other quick points. Success means a lot of things to a lot of people, but ultimately it means having self-reliance and the ability to choose your own path, not being stuck because you didn't prepare yourself. Success means having options, at least to me. And success is earned, it's not received. You give yourself success, no one can hand it to you. And how you get there really is through preparation. Education is huge. It doesn't have to be a college degree, but certainly it needs to be some kind of training, vocational, trade skills. You need to pick up and find some interest in an area where you can actually develop some skill sets. College is a good option, but it's not the only option. Other things are have a positive attitude. Be eager and willing and bring enthusiasm. Employers love it. Also, don't be a minimalist. When you get a job, don't just do the very minimum you have to do. Go beyond that, and you'll be rewarded. Managers, employers love when you go beyond your little area of responsibility. It shows self-initiative. Lastly, understand that being consistently good beats occasionally, once in a while, great, every time, all day. Show up, be dependable, be consistently good, and you'll be once in a while great all the time. And lastly, success takes time. It's a rung. You're climbing a ladder. It's a series of small steps. Don't think that you're going to wake up one day and be successful. It's a constant process of learning and growing in a series of small steps that advances you on the journey. And at the end, it's really a journey. Life is really a journey. Find the joy in the journey and you'll get there. I'm willing to help. Give any questions to your teacher and we'll talk soon. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.